done today is that finance department, which, hey, I know we all hate this stuff. The bookkeeping, the taxes, like, trust me, I just got my taxes done. I want to blow my brains out. But anyway, we have to do it, and it is vital to have the financial statements and a business plan, because you got to track your numbers just like you're tracking your numbers when you're prospecting to know, hey, do I have a problem? Should I feel good about where I'm at now? You don't know that unless you track your numbers. And the same way, it is with your financials. So basically what I've done is kind of created this diagram here that I just wanted to share. And this is how I set my business up. And just so you know, like, before I got into real estate, I was a CPA. So I was a certified public accountant. My license is now lapsed, of course, but I still know enough to be dangerous. Now, I wasn't a tax expert by any means. My area of expertise was financial analysis and working with people who run businesses to review their financial reporting and analyze that. I worked in a $500 million business. So I know a little bit about this. Actually, I know a lot about this. So wanted to share this with you. And so one other disclaimer, like, this is how I have my business set up. I'm in the state of Georgia. This may be different for you. I would just say check with, your CPA attorney on any of this stuff, because this just applies to me. I just wanted to share what I have going on. So how I have my business set up is my business is an LLC, and I'm actually taxed as an S corp. So from the IRS's perspective, I'm an S corp. But when I filed my paperwork with the state of Georgia to create my company, it is a limited liability company, and there's benefits setting it up this way, tax benefits, and that's why I chose to go this route. So first off, you got to have your business set up in a way that's going to make all this other stuff work, right? So once you get the business set up in the most optimal way for your specific situation, then it's like, okay, now I have this business. I got to track activity. There's some things I have to do financially. How am I going to do that? And, of course, we want, none of this stuff is going to create new customers. So we want to be as efficient as possible. We want to get the maximum amount of actionable information out of what's going on financially in our business with the most minimal effort and time, because, again, it's not a revenue generating activity, so we want to minimize the time spent here. So I have a couple tools that I use to help facilitate this. So one is QuickBooks Online. I use this. It makes it very easy for me to create financial statements and to review this stuff, as activities happening through the month. And then once the month is over, to wrap everything up, it can be done relatively quickly. And then I have there's some e-file services out there. So, when you have a setup as I do with an LLC, taxes and S corp, there's a few things you got to do. Number one is you got to file an S corp tax return. So you're not going to be paying any taxes in S corp because it's a flow-through entity. It's going to flow through to your personal taxes, but you still have to file a return 1120S. So that's done. There's e-file services out there where it'll take you step by step through all the information and questions, and then it'll populate the tax return for you. So you got to have a little bit of knowledge, but not a whole lot, but they make it pretty easy. So we have that. And then, of course, on the personal side, then there's also services out there where you can file your taxes online. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. Then, in addition to these, then there's some online things you got to do, because when you're set up this way, you're taking payroll, and so you have some payroll taxes that you got to pay. So there's some online services, with the state of Georgia for unemployment tax, or some other, the state of Georgia income tax, and you got the IRS to be able to pay your quarterly payments, or your FICA and your federal income tax, and then your federal unemployment as well. So there's some services there. So basically, it's not a whole lot, but I mean, with these two things, QuickBooks Online and then a couple of e-file services for your business and personal, that's really all the tools you need, and it's pretty minimal cost to get this set up. And once you got it set up, man, it's really, really easy. So then what does all this give you? So you get your business set up, you got some activity flowing, you're using these tools to track everything. And basically what you get at the end of the day is you're able to produce financial statements, because, I mean, you're not a business if you don't have financial statements and you're not reviewing those on a regular basis. Then second, because you have financial statements, you understand the way your business works, the economic model as it's talked about in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. You can create a business plan. And a business plan, basically in my head, is you start with the financial statements and you work backwards on, hey, okay, these are my numbers that I want to achieve. Now, how am I going to get there? What are my sources of business? Open houses, calling expireds, FSBOs, cold calling, my SOI. What are all the activities that I'm doing in each source? And is that reasonable? Is that going to get me to where I want to go? Is that going to allow me to hit my targets? So this is this business plan that you can create to work off of, to monitor, because the business plan, that's like the plan, and then the financial statements, as you produce those each month, you're comparing those against the plan. So you need both, because if you have financial statements, well, that's great, that tells you what you're doing, but where did you expect to be? You don't know that without the business plan. And if you have the business plan and you don't have the financial statements, well, how do you know? Are you on target to your plan? Should you feel good about your activity this year? You don't know that without having the results, which is the financial statements. And then the biggest, kind of benefit to me in setting all this up this way is I'm not losing a ton of money to the IRS this way. This is the most optimal way for me to set this up. So just wanted to kind of walk through this diagram here, share that with you. If you have any questions on any of this, feel free to give me a call, 678-761-2493. If you want to talk a little bit more about something specific in detail, about, what the financial statements, what does the business plan look like, how do you do QuickBooks, and what is my QuickBooks setup, I'd be more than happy to walk anybody through that. If you found this helpful, or even if you didn't, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you share this video. And again, I'm here to help. So you guys have an awesome Friday. Get on those phones and set some appointments.